These are the largest tanks ever designed. This is going to be interesting. I always just thought that tanks was like one standard size, but I know for a fact we're going to get some crazy big ones in here, and it's going to be really cool. So yeah, looking forward for this video. I have been uploading videos to my Patreon that I can't upload to YouTube. So if you guys want to check it out and some other benefits that you get with it, like names in the description and stuff, the link is down below in the description. How big can these tanks get?
Tanks. There is perhaps no symbol greater of modern warfare than the tank, and in this video we're going to take a look at some of the most ridiculously oversized tanks that have ever been designed.
I actually want one.
To begin with something a little familiar, we're going to start with the American...
Bro, imagine, you'll never be in traffic ever, bro, with a tank.
M1 Abrams main battle tank, which is still currently used in service. The vehicle weighs a mighty 62 metric tons, equal to the weight of about 49 2016 Toyota Corollas. It possesses a main gun of 105 millimeters, meaning the shell that it fires from the turret is 105 millimeters in diameter.
Holy fucking magic, bro.
There are 3 secondary machine guns located around the tank as well, and the vehicle is crewed by a 4-man team. Individually, each M1 Abrams tank costs $8.92 million to produce, but this is just scratching the surface of monstrously huge tanks in history. Arguably, the largest tank in terms of physical dimensions ever built was way back in the First World War and was made by the French. It was named the Char 2C and features a prominent role in the latest Battlefield 1 expansion pack. It was... Bro,
they're actually so cool, but like, imagine, you know, you're in the military, you're on the front line. Imagine that coming fucking towards it, bro.
Designed in 1917 when the First World War was still raging, but the first unit wasn't actually built until 1921, 3 years after the war had ended. The tank weighed 69 metric tons, a little heavier than the modern Abrams M1, and featured a 75mm main cannon along with 4 secondary machine guns placed in the front, the sides, and the rear of the vehicle. This monster tank was 10.27 meters long and 3 meters wide. It took a crew of 12 men to fully operate the machine, but France only ever built 10 of them, which wasn't enough to turn the tide of World War II when the Germans attacked again. However, an even more absurd tank from the First World War was the German-designed K-Wagen. This beast was so large that it was impossible to transport it in its fully built form, so the Germans had to disassemble it into 6 separate pieces, transport it by rail, and reassemble it just behind the front lines. One such tank actually was finished just before the war ended, but never actually saw service because Germany surrendered before it could be used. If it had been utilized, however, the Western Front would have witnessed a 120 metric ton monster, nearly twice the weight of a modern...
Bro, that actually looks like a beast.
It was 13 meters long, just 2 meters shorter than the width of an NBA basketball court. It came equipped with not 1, but 4 different 77mm Fortress guns and 7 MG08 machine guns. It was intended to have a crew of 27 men, 1 commander, 2 drivers.
Yo, why was this never in use? Like, what the, like, you know, like, thank God it wasn't in use, fucking hell, but, you know, you've started the war. Why did they not bring it out to begin with, right? Was it not built or was it not ready?
1 signaler, 1 artillery officer,
I guess it was already.
12 artillery men, 8 machine gunners, and 2 mechanics. The addition of flamethrowers to the tank's already fearsome arsenal was also considered to be added, but was never realized. Eventually, when the Second World War rolled around, the design of truly ludicrous tanks would begin. The Nazis would design possibly the most absurd of all of these tanks, however,
of course.
The first being the massive Panzer VIII Maus. This is the
I've heard of the Panzer.
Tank still to this day that has ever actually been built, and weighed an enormous 188 metric tons, nearly 3.5 times the weight of a modern M1 Abrams tank. This behemoth featured a 128mm main gun capable of destroying any Allied tank in the war from a distance of 3.5 kilometers.
Wow.
It also had a secondary 75mm cannon as well as 1 machine gun. It possessed 220mm of steel armor plating on the front and was intended to be operated by a crew of 6 men. Because of its sheer size, however, it faced numerous problems. Firstly, it was so heavy that it couldn't drive over any bridges without collapsing them beneath its own weight. So if it needed to cross a river, then it had to go underneath it, and the crew would use a snorkel to pump air into the main cabin, which is just ridiculous. Finally, if there ever was a real-life boss battle against an evil enemy worthy of a video game, it would have been against the German-designed Landkreuzer P-1000 Ratte. Personally approved by Adolf Hitler himself, the finished tank was intended to weigh 1,000 metric tons, which is—
Bro, there's no way that picture right there was like an example of what it was going to be. There's no fucking way. Like, bro, what is Hitler on? He's just like, yo, bigger the better. But we listen, Hitler. We couldn't bring the first one. We had to put it in 6 parts. Bigger the better, man. Like, bro, what is he on?
5 times heavier than even the Panzer VIII Mouse, and over 16 times heavier than a modern M1 Abrams tank. 300 tons of the total weight would have been devoted entirely to munitions like shells for the cannons and bullets for the machine guns. It was planned to be 39 meters long, longer than the length of an NBA basketball court, as well as 14 meters wide, which is roughly the same width of a basketball court. The monster tank would have been powered by 2 24-cylinder marine diesel engines, the same engines that were used to power U-boat submarines. This would have given the tank an unbelievable 16,000 horsepower that could have propelled it up to speeds of 40 kilometers per hour. The Landkreuzer's primary weapon would have been a dual 280mm
25 miles per hour.
SK-28 turret. This was the same turret that was used on Germany's main battleships, and to put that into perspective, the barrel of the Landkreuzer cannon would have been almost 4 times wider than the barrel of the modern Abrams battle tank. In addition to this terrifying main cannon, the Landkreuzer was also armed with a 128mm anti-tank gun, which means that its secondary cannon was the same size of the main cannon on the Panzer VIII Mouse. It also would be equipped with 2 15mm Mauser autocannons capable of shredding smaller vehicles to pieces, and a total of 8 28mm Flak 38 anti-air guns to defend the behemoth against—
Wait, this was never built, was it? Oh, thank God this was never built. But like, this was a plan.
Air attacks. The tank also would have come equipped with a vehicle bay that could hold 2 motorcycles.
Yeah, the video says designed. This tank right here was designed. It's ridiculous.
Operations. It had its own medical room and even had its own bathroom. It was intended to be operated by a crew of 41 men, but a tank of this size was doomed for failure from the start. It was never built because it was determined that despite being armed with 8 anti-aircraft guns, the tank would still be too large of a target for enemy planes to attack.
True.
This wild experimentation of tank design could well have cost Germany the war. Germany gained the majority of their territory in the first year of World War II, when their tanks were inferior to the Allies. Their success was largely a result of their overwhelming numbers and speed when attacking, not having the best tank. By the time the invasion of Russia began, Germany had the most advanced tanks, but they were met with what seemed to be a never-ending army of T-34 tanks. A fantastic yet crudely constructed tank. It was designed with high speed and low cost of manufacturing in mind. The Blitzkrieg was finally—
Yeah, that's very true. You're gonna want more of these small bad boys than just one big one that could potentially also be destroyed by aircrafts and stuff. So yeah.
At the Battle of Kursk, the largest tank
it's not always bigger the better
of humankind. This battle depleted the German war effort like no other, and the Germans would struggle to take a step forward again.
Please make sure to go watch.
That's a pretty cool ass tie. Yeah, I've never joined in the military, bro, because if one of them was coming towards me, I actually would shit myself and run and just faint and collapse and probably just die on the spot without even getting like a bullet touching me. But yeah, really dope video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it too. If you did, make sure you leave a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.